YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host TKK and we are back with another video, guys. We got a different piece of content that I'm shooting, and I kind of want to use this, and whenever I do this again, it'll be soon, the next video, to gauge the interest of the community. I do want to get into the space of reviewing some Blu-ray content. I did recently purchase myself a Panasonic Blu-ray player, and that has been featured on the channel. I'll card that in right now if you're interested in checking that out. But it's kind of led me down this rabbit hole where, you know, I'm going after movies and content that's going to be significant and meaningful to myself, right? So the first video, or the first piece of content that I've chose to collect since owning this Blu-ray player is Street Fighter II, the animated movie. Now, I cannot say enough good things about this particular movie. The production, it was just ahead of its time completely. Personally, I have owned virtually every iteration of this. From VHS, I've owned many of different versions that came with collector's editions through the years of owning, you know, Street Fighter game catalogs on different consoles. I've had DVDs. I still own at least 2, if not 3 different iterations of DVD versions of this movie, and I got it on 4K. So this is a newer release, and I'm really excited about this thing. Now, I have cracked it open. I just want to spend a little bit of time just talking about some of the different things that, you know, they express that you should be getting with this. They've coined this as the complete experience. This is supposed to be like the best of the best from a video fidelity perspective to sound quality, and it's supposed to offer you all the different mixes that you can. Now, I did test this a little bit, right? And I've already shown a short of it, but I'll just give you a look at the case. It's going to be front of it. Then we're going to take a look at the back. Got a good look at that. And then we've also got the sleeve. So the animation is a little bit different on the sleeve. And then the rear of the sleeve is actually going to be consistent. Now, if I can be honest with you and just tell you in the beginning, I do wish that, you know, this was kind of a steelbook. This is one of these situations where I really wish the extra investment was made in creating a steelbook. The sleeve is nice, and the reality is I'm probably going to try to rip this and get it into my Plex server so that I can just retain the quality of this. But the sleeve has already, you know, has some type of imperfection to it with me tearing off the wrapping to it. Hey, maybe that was me. Maybe I was just being a little too aggressive. But opening this thing up doesn't come with much content, right? So there's no booklet, no slide or anything like that. And I just want to give you a look at what the disc looks like, okay? Let's get a clean look at that. All right. So that's kind of an overview of the unboxing of this thing. I think the direction that I should take these, because I know that I can't show much content on here, probably some stills. I would like to talk about my experience watching this and you know, how I enjoyed it again, and what I thought about it. But I do want to kind of take you guys on a small ride on looking at what's all to offer when you are looking at this thing from a Blu-ray player perspective. So we're going to have some timestamps down below. Continue to use those, and see you on the next transition. Right, so upon turning this thing on, you're going to be met with a ton of different advertisements that they have to offer. And let me pause this just because I don't know exactly, you know, how this should be. Now, my experience on reviewing this is going to be on a Sony A95L. I have the 77-inch of this. This is a quantum dot OLED, or QD OLED. This is generation 2 of this type of panel made from Samsung Displays. It is not calibrated. I guess you'd call it soft calibrated. I've tweaked it myself, got my own settings to it, but we haven't had a meter or anything like that put to it for me to get to a place where a professional's come to touch it. But this TV looks pretty remarkable out of the box. And the Blu-ray player that I'm using is the Panasonic 820. So that's going to be the model. So this is the little brother of the 9000, and a great player it is. So getting past all of this content that plays right here just shows a slew of different offerings that they have for you to engage into. We're gonna get right to the menu. All right, top menu brings us right to the iconic song that plays at the end of this movie, and it actually shows you Ken Ryu or Ken Ryu, with Bison. This is the song that's playing at the end when they are fighting him at the end. Let me just go ahead and mute this so I don't have any type of issues with copyright or whatnot. As I said earlier in this video, I know that I can't show this movie in all totality. I really would love to be able to have like just a big group watch with you guys. But I need to try to develop my content so that financially someday this can get me to a place where, I can improve even my lifestyle to another level. Anyway, so we're met with this beautiful animation of menu options. You can go right into play film. So essentially what happens is you toggle over to the right, you get scenes, another right, you get setup, another right, you get extras. So going to setup puts you where you are met with these different options, right? So you get to select English US rated version 5.1 with signed subtitles. Going down, you got the UK unrated stereo. You got the English 13 rated version stereo. You got the English with original score stereo. I like to point out that while this says stereo, I was a little bit concerned because this is one of my favorite ways to watch this, with English dub or English dialogue, but with the original score, which means all the music that was presented with this film when it was originally created in Japan. This is a great option, and I thought that it was going to be forced stereo, but my receiver, the Blu-ray player, was able to push it out, right? So just want to put that out there. 5.1 doesn't appear to be the only option up top where you can get a true surround experience. Then obviously you've got Japanese stereo with North American names. So you have North American means that Bison, who we're seeing here, is going to be Bison. Balrog will be the boxer. Vega will be the claw, and Sagat will be Sagat. Japanese names are going to change things up. Bison, who you see here, will be Vega. Claw Vega will be Balrog. Bison will be the boxer, and then Sagat is still Sagat, right? So 3 of the 4 bosses get a rename, right? And then you've got isolated Japanese score stereo. This is a pretty awesome option that I like to see too. If you just, want to hear everything in Japanese, this is pretty awesome. My first encounter with this movie was in straight Japanese with no subtitles. I probably watched it, I'm not exaggerating, the VHS 50 times. I mean, front to back, no skipping. This movie was just that freaking great. Japanese straight up with nothing. I mean, I just knew a word for word. Couldn't speak a lick of Japanese, but I could speak every word that was going on with this movie at that time. So that's what you got for your setup options all right there. So now we're just taking a look at the extras. So when you dive into the extras, you got the PG-13 cut. You've got that with the English score and with the Japanese score, because if you got younger children like I do, you don't want to see Chun-Li titties. You know what I'm saying? You definitely have that as an option. You got some trailers. You can do the Japanese trailer, English trailer, Blu-ray trailer, and then you got some main feature different options. Interactive movie game cutscene. Movie game cutscene collection. You got the English home video opening and closing credits. You got titleless end credits. You got alternative song inserts. You go over to next, get you some more different options. So video linear notes. You got different cuts, alternative takes. You got production art galleries. All those different options there. And then you got some text notes there too. So some great options there, character bios, things like that, just to give you, just an overall nice experience as to what this is. So this really is like the definitive version of this, because I mean, it seems to pack everything in that you would want, right? And so the advantages to having it on Blu-ray or 4K Blu-ray or on a player, right, means that you get access to all this content. As I said, I made a community post and I said, collection has to have quality before it can have quantity, man. It doesn't matter if you have one movie, if that one movie is of substance and it actually is a pretty good buy, then, it's worth having in the collection. And this, I have to say, just delivers 100%. Right, so my first run through with this movie, as I said, I have the Japanese score, original score with English. And so, man, oh man, I gotta tell you, it looks and sounds fantastic. Now, my setup, as I said, I just did a review of the Blu-ray player, and if I didn't card it in already, I'll card it in right now. I mean, listen, I love everything about what I've got going on. Right now, as I'm reviewing this, I'm kind of sitting behind the camera, and I'm right in the center of everything that I've got going on from a perspective of like my surround system. I've got a center, it's right under my 77-inch. I've got two subwoofers on the left and right of those, and then further left and right over, I've got the tower speakers. Behind me, I've got a left and a right, so I've got pretty good audio. This opening sequence with the Japanese music, let me tell you, man, oh man. So this movie opens up with Ryu and with Sågat. Now listen, if you played, Street Fighter Alpha, Alpha 2, there was a stage put onto that game that gave you everything that you got right here, right? And then just immediately opening this up, the drawings and everything about this movie is just pretty magical, okay? The sound stage is freaking phenomenal, man. Like, listening to this fight right here, this is the type of opening sequence that you would play over and over and over and over and over again, right? Just because the music comes on as soon as the credits are rolling. And it's unfortunate that I can't really share this with you. And I don't even know if me showing the credits without the audio is going to be any of a problem here. I like to think it's not, but you know what? We're going to edit the video and we're going to get it up and we're going to post it and see how it goes, right? But just opening this thing up, you're met with this great soundtrack that starts off and it's very relaxing, almost like jazz, right? And then out of nowhere, you just hear thunder. There's just this loud ass thunder crackling sound, right? And so it takes me back to when I first seen this. I had a cousin, and I'm an older dude, man. I'm in my 40s, but I had a cousin. His name's Chardon. I'm going to actually card him to see this. He showed me this for the first time, and I was asking him, like, what is this? What is this, right? Like, he just put the tape in, and he was like, you just got to wait and see. You just got to wait and see. So this sequence comes up, and it's all Japanese. Like, there's no English dialogue. There's no English text or anything. It's all Japanese. And I see this scene right here. I see Ryu, and I'm like, oh, shit. Now, at the time, listen, we are hella Street Fighter fiends, right? And so I'm just like, whoa, what is this, right? And he let me borrow the tape. And I'm telling you, when I say that I watched this shit like 50 times, I am not exaggerating with you dudes, man. This was a great fight scene here. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody that hasn't seen this, but this is where you get to see this iconic battle with Ryu and with Sågat, and it just leads to some, this just sets the tone for the entire movie. The movie does not turn down at any point from this fight scene right here. Oh, man. Look at the size difference of these guys, man. Oh, YouTube, please let me show this. Oh, man. Gotta give it to Sågat. Chest bleeding, still coming for it. Look at this, man. All right, guys. So, man, listen, I don't want to spoil this for anybody, but, This is just an amazing movie. I think this is a pretty damn good Blu-ray. I think it's really worth picking up. And if you happen to have not seen this, I gotta say, I'm not the biggest anime person. I'm really not cultured in the arts of anime. I came up with this. I came up with Ninja Scroll. I came up with Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, like before they came to the States. And that's what I was kind of cultured on and brought up on. So I'm not into a ton of different anime, but I like all different forms of Street Fighter. I have the V series, even the old stuff that came up on USA Network. This is an amazing Blu-ray. Out of all of the different iterations of this that I've always owned, from VHS to DVDs to standard Blu-ray to collector's edition Blu-rays, where they always added extra commentary and different things like that, this appears to be the most definitive. It sounds good. It looks fantastic, right? So they've redone it. There's some extra pop with color and flair with high dynamic range that works through my Blu-ray player and my TV. So I definitely recommend picking this up. This was a pre-order I had got, and when I seen it, I was like, man, I have to have this. I have to get this. My only ask would have been, wish list would have been, like I said, a steelbook of some kind, because this movie is just so iconic. A steelbook would have been much appreciated. And honestly, if they revisit this again with like a steelbook, I would buy the shit again. Just everything that's there, but just give me a steelbook. Give me maybe a little bit more physical content to be able to hold on to. But within you having the physical disc, you do really get a masterpiece and a treasure trove of content that they have stored on there by way of the menus that I showed you. It sounds great, it looks great, and I definitely recommend it. Now, I'd like to know what you guys think. If you happen to see this, about this brief review. As I said, even with the stuff that I've shot so far for this, I don't know what YouTube will allow me to post. So I'm going to do my best to get the content out here. And even if I can't like monetize it or whatever, I'll learn from it and we'll get better. But I'm only going to do that if people are interested in seeing this. My channel is all about TKK, and I'm into a little bit of everything from fashion to dressing into technology, TVs, computers. And now we're going to be trying to cover some Blu-ray content reviews, right? So let me know in the comment section down below what you thought. Let's have some engagement as always. We'll wrap this thing up. Peace, God bless, and as I always say, man, max love.